Hey y'all, hey. So I'm back with another version of Don't Settle. So if you go back and look at one of my videos, I answered a response to someone, one of my fellow YouTubers, who asked a question about what does a woman mean when she says she's not going to settle. And there was some, like, when you do these videos, you kind of do them and you think about them afterwards. So you might think about things that you could have said. And today, my pastor preached, and I really wanted to, like, to me, it just kind of tied into the conversation that we had with that video. And there were some things that I wanted to expound on. And just FYI, y'all, like, my house right now is like Grand Central Station. So, it might be some people talking and things going on, but I felt led to just come on and do this one tonight. And so he was talking about, let me see, John, the 5th chapter, the man who was healed at the pool of Bethesda. And I'm going to just read, I want to read I'm going to read quite a few verses. So it says, after this, there was the feast of the Jews, and Jesus went to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In this lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the movement of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time to the pool and stirred up the water. Then whosoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well. And whatever disease that they had, that he had, and whatever disease that he had, now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. He was there 38 years. I want y'all to catch that. 38 years. When Jesus saw him laying there and knew that he already had been in and that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man, it said immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said to him, who cured you? Cured. I have a slight speech impediment, y'all. I won't say impediment. I've always had a little lisp, so sometimes saying certain words is hard. Cured. Who cured you? And then they said, it's the Sabbath. Like, in other words, man, that don't happen on this day. It is not lawful for you to carry. Is it not lawful for you to carry your bed? He answered then, "He who made me well said to me, take up your bed and walk." And I just wanted to stop right there. I mean, the scripture goes on to talk about what they said and how they responded to him. But what I wanted to key in on is don't settle. So, we in the previous video, I talked about, like, why I wouldn't settle, what a woman might say when she's saying that. But I kind of want to talk to the men today. And I want to talk about some of the things that you settle in your relationships that then create an atmosphere for you not to want to move forward in the future. And so, and I made some notes. You guys know normally I just go off the fly, but when I want to be more specific, I make notes so that I can make sure I hit those points. And one of the things, and I was in church when I was writing some of this, so my pastor is preaching, he's talking about this, and the Lord has downloaded information for me to get a y'all. Isn't that good? That's good. It's rich. And one of the things I wrote is don't get content. Sometimes as men, you can be so content in a negative situation. Like, you guys can find a way to, your coping mechanism is so high that you can find a way to cope with an unhealthy situation. And then you wondering why you having diabetes, why you having heart attacks, why you having strokes. Some of that don't have everything to do with just what you eating. It has a lot to do with your daily environment. If you are engulfed into negativity every day on a constant and consistent basis, there is no way then for you to be able to say that I can then have positivity flowing out of me. You have to be engulfed into a positive situation in order to be able to change that. And then I wrote a note, why stay in a place just to say that you are married? get up and take up your bed. No, I'm not saying, I want to make sure that I'm not advocating for anybody to leave nobody. What I am advocating for is for healthy people, because healthy people in healthy homes produce a healthy environment. When you are unhealthy in your home, you bring all that to the job. You bring it to the community center. You bring it to the baseball field. You bring it to the soccer field. You bring it to the ballerina reception. You bring it to every other element of your life that you are participating in. And so I wanted to just capitalize on that. While I was at church, I also wrote, you will keep calling. Oh, you will keep calling on God. You will keep calling when you want God to hear you. And so, when Jesus said to him, basically, how long you been here? He's like, I've been here, but everybody just keep walking over me. At some point, you will then say, no, Lord, I need for you to either fix this or release me from it. I need you to either, give me what guidance that I need as the head of this household to make sure that I am giving everything that I can in this position and in this circumstance, or I need for you to, close this door. It's unhealthy for anybody. One of the things that I looked at is, as you all know, I was married for a total of 12 years. We were in the same household for a total of 10 years. But what I had not shared is that around year 4 is when I first gave him the first set of divorce papers. When we went through the infidelity the first time, we had only been married about 18 months, 2 years. We were still in the honeymoon stage. Like, I thought we were happy. So when he said he wanted to work through everything, I was like, okay, we can do this. And I did. I tried that. But around year 4 or 5, I was like, hey, we ain't going to be able to do this. And then he sat me down. He begged, pleaded me. Okay, we're going to work this out. I promise it ain't going to be this, da-da-da-da-da. What I do need for people to understand, anybody that's listening to my video, any man that comes to me, like we having that conversation very early on, I don't have that grace anymore. The grace for forgiving for that is no longer there. That grace, he took every drop of it with him. And so I need y'all to know that for real. And I need for you as men to know that you can't hold that against someone else. Like, if you're already out of your situation or your circumstance, you can't hold that against the next person that's coming forth. So I also wrote, even if it's on the Sabbath, some men will try and force her out. Okay, yeah. Like, sometimes, me and y'all have this way where y'all are trying to, like, see if she will leave. Like, I didn't have a problem with the whole leaving thing. It came a time where, when we met, I had a house already. And, we ended up buying a house together because I felt like he needed that to solidify his position in the marriage. And finally I just came to him because at first it was like, I didn't want to uproot my kids, didn't want to move them, and he was like, well, it's my house. So I just went and I sat down with him and I said, I'll give you the house. Like, you can have everything. I don't want no alimony. I don't want anything. I just want out. Can you just sign these papers? And, when somebody comes to you and they say that, he was like, what? I said, I've already found me an apartment, and I'll just move my kids. I really didn't want to uproot my children. And he didn't have any kids by me. And he obviously had somewhere to go because he was going to that place on a regular. So my frustration was, why do you want to take this when you obviously have somewhere that you could go? And in the end, he finally said, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I will leave, like, if you're really that unhappy. And I said, but, okay, well, I'm not going to tap on that this time. I'm going to come back with that in another video, because I want to talk about men and how you all enable bad behavior. While I was in church, I wrote down, keep making excuses. So this man, he had been there. It said the angel came every day. So every day the angel was coming to trouble the water, and somebody was going to get healed that day. How bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want to be in a good situation? If you are content, or you have set yourself up that you are okay with coping with the negativity, then that's your choice. Like, we all have a choice. You can keep making excuses. You can keep whining about it. You can say that you're not going to settle for something. And you know, my brother friend, he said, well, you don't really hear men say they're not going to settle. No, you don't really hear y'all say that. But I hear enough barbershop talk that I do hear what you all do say. And if you know, we are completely honest, and we're taking a true look in the mirror, because I do believe that my channel is for the purpose of helping people to heal, to help you to really take a look inside, to say, what did I do to help to create this situation? And sometimes men, if y'all love a woman, it's a good trait, but it's a thin line between helping somebody and enabling them. It's a very thin line when you continue to help somebody who has a bad behavior, continue to perpetuate that. If you had and I hate to use these examples, but if you had somebody that was on drugs in your family, would you continue to give them money to go and solidify their drug use? If you had an alcoholic, would you continue to buy alcohol and put it in the household where they are? Well, it's the same way when you got somebody that don't spend money right. They buying purses all the time. They got shoes out the yang yang, but they ain't got no money in the bank. So on their body, they look real good. But you help to continue to contribute to that by giving them the credit card that they can just keep charging up and you pay it down. Or you contribute to that by affording them the ability to not have no responsibilities in the household. And then you mad? No, that's not her fault or his fault. If it's a lady who's on the other side, that's your fault. It was my fault that I allowed my husband to continue to have relationships outside of my home. When I found that out the first time, yes, you can work through that and you can forgive somebody. But when I continue to allow that behavior to be a part of our regular everyday lifestyle, that became me enabling that situation. Because I couldn't stop him from doing it. But what I could do is say that you can no longer do it to me. And I didn't say that. And I didn't say it because I was scared. I had found a place of contentment within that relationship. I was like, well, like, he wasn't beating me. He wasn't knocking me upside my head. He wasn't physically doing any harm to me, but my mental capacity, like, I'm a thinker. If you've been following my channel, like, I'm going to ask a 1,000 questions, and I'm paying attention. And because, and I will say this, when a woman is in her safe space, she's not looking. She's not paying attention to anything that's like that. When she's in a safe space. Now, also, I'm not as street savvy as some other women that might be watching this. They might be like, oh girl, I would have seen that a mile away. Or I would have checked him on that immediately. I wasn't like that. That's not my personality trait, and that's not something that I knew to do. So when it comes down to it, I didn't know to look for the signs. Because if I tell you something, I'm the type of person, if I'm for you, I'm for you. And if I'm not, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to be like, look, this was a good run while we were at it. But it ain't working no more, and so we ain't going to be able to do this. Like, that's kind of what I expect. So I can take a brother who is a little bit more brutal in his delivery. Like, I might correct him and say, well, you could have said that a little bit differently. But I can take it because he's being truthful. I can take it because I know exactly where he stands. I know exactly where he's coming from. And if he say yay, his yay is yay, and his nay is nay. If he say no, he means no. And if he says yes, he means yes. I can deal with that black and white every day, all day. And so going back to don't settle, men, you ask the question, what does a woman mean when she says that? It just means that at some point we make a decision that we're not going to tolerate things that we once used to. Now, does that mean in relationships that you don't have to have a give and take? You're going to always have that. But there has to be a strong balance to everything that we do. The other thing that I wrote down, and I wrote this tonight, so the part about not making any excuses. You heard the man say he'd been there 38 years. How long you gonna stay married? I put in 10. I did 10 again. If y'all go back and read my never date while you broken in your broken state, you put it together. Anybody that know, they know why you stay married for 10 years. It's a key component to that. But, and I will say, that even after I did the 10, I decided that I had been in prison enough. Like, my sentence, I have to laugh to keep from crying, because if I really think about some of the stuff that I went through, I really would cry. But yeah, my sentence was over with that. I wrote, you will do something different when you really want to change. And not that you got to change the other person, because I didn't change him. I don't know whether or not he's changed. I don't know whether he's still doing the same thing. That's not my problem. That's not my issue. But I changed. I decided that that is no longer something that I would tolerate, and that's no longer something that I'll even deal with in a new relationship. Like, I'm not. Who would even go into that with that? Then I have, you will create a pathway that may also be painful, but will prepare you for your purpose. And in saying that, like, I knew it was very painful going through my separation and divorce. Like, I knew it had to happen. It was no way I could stay in that and be who I am today. Like, the person y'all see now, I'm totally different these 4 or 5 years later. I'm happy, I'm joyous. Like, my laughs are really genuine laughs. They're not just occasional. It's every day. Like, I have way more laughter than I do sadness now. And it's not just because of him, but because when we got people in our environment, if that's your daily routine, like, nobody wants to live their daily life that way. And as we are getting older, with my channel being for people that are 40, 50, 60 years old, nobody wants to live like that. Like, no man wants to come home unhappy every day. Like, he don't want to get off his job and then come to the house and know that he got to deal with this component that's over here negative as well. So, that pathway was painful. But it definitely has me here, because I'm on the YouTube channel and I know I'm walking in my purpose. And then I had share about how much stronger I am after the divorce. Everything was for my good. And there was a song that Dottie Peoples had, and I'm not going to sing all of it, but I'm going to sing a little portion of it. The first part, it says, I've had trials and tribulations, unexpected situations, living here below. I've had friends to turn their backs on me and leave me standing in the cold. I've been hurt in the church as I attempt to do God's work by people who call themselves saints. Many times I felt like giving up, but the Spirit said, Mary, you can't. And I'm going to leave that right there. But that song is called For My Good, and it's by Dottie Peoples. And, I just wanted to say to you that sometimes you got to find music, you got to find poetry, you got to find something that helps to pull you out of that place. But as we look at not settling, let's make sure that we don't set up such a pathway that we're not going to settle, that we don't allow a pathway for God to open up the door for what it is for us. Now, there are many people that say, hey, I did it one time or I did it 2 times, I'll never want to do that again, and they just want to have a relationship, and that's great. And remember, my channel is for people who are looking to date, but the end goal and the desire is to get to marriage, and they want a pathway to make sure that they don't repeat some of the things that they've already done before. So, as I say to you guys, I want you guys to click like. I want you to share this with a friend, and then I need for you to subscribe. And let me know what else that you guys want to hear me talk about. Or do you want me to expound on this a little bit more? Maybe I can make it a part 3 or something of that sort. All right. And as I always say, hey, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Bye.